Hello and welcome to PlayStation Access. My name is Rosie, and as you're about to find out, I'm incredibly excited for this beautiful game you see right here, Astro Bot, coming to PS5 on the 6th of September. It seems that my summoning circle for new games has worked!
Just got the rest to go now.
And I know I'm not the only excited person. The Access team loves this little guy, and if you look at the announcement trailer on YouTube, it's got over 1 million views. Although 500,000 of those might just be me watching Parappa Bot dance. But why do we love Astro Bot? Why is it we love his games? Why is it that when we see Team Asobi's logo pop up, we all stop what we're doing and give it all of our attention? Well, I can't speak for you, but I can speak for myself. So in the lead up to Astro Bot's release, I wanted to make a video on why I think Astro Bot is great. A proto version of Astro Bot first appeared way back in 2013 in the Playroom, which was a collection of minigames showcasing PS4's tech. The bots returned in 2016 for the Playroom VR, which did a similar job for PSVR. Back then, he wasn't called Astro Bot. He was just a robot in the Robots Rescue game, but he quickly became a community favourite. So what makes him so special? Well, let's start with his design, which is really quite simple, effectively being a bunch of spheres and triangles. So no matter your drawing skill, if you wanted to draw him, you could simply draw a bunch of circles and some triangles, and I'm sure everyone would recognise him. And if not, you could add a little triangle on his chest and a little cape just for the detail. Mwah, he's beautiful. And his colour scheme is simply white, black and blue, so I could draw him on this whiteboard super quick. His simplistic design also means that as a mascot in general, he goes with anything. Want the bots to dress up as other characters? Easy! Put a hat on and boom! It's
the Jill sandwich.
Want to showcase new tech? Well, look at Astro. He looks so smart wearing the PSVR. Want him to celebrate the Champions League final? Here he is with the bots heading a football. You can even visit Team Asobi's website and see the bots representing company benefits on their career page, and they look great! I think this one's my favourite. But of course, a cool character design is nothing without a gameplay soul to animate it, and the Astro Bot games don't disappoint. And by games, I'm referring to Astro's two main standalone titles, Astro Bot Rescue Mission on PSVR and Astro's Playroom on PlayStation 5. They're some of the most polished experiences you can have on PlayStation. By polished, I mean the whole experience just feels wonderful. In both of his games, the controls are responsive, the weight and timing of Astro's movements feels just right, he runs at a good pace, picking up some satisfying momentum in Playroom if you leave him running, he jumps at a good height, his little laser feet feel like they last for a fair amount of time, his punches have a satisfying rhythm. The weight and functionality of every gadget and toy feels so considered, such as the water going so far and drooping at the end in Rescue Mission. It all just comes together to create an experience where I feel that the games have done absolutely nothing wrong. If I die, I feel like I die because of me, not because of the game. I'm sorry, I love you! And both games tick all my platforming boxes. Do they have collectibles, like your coins, gems or bolts? Yes! You collect coins which you can then spend on a claw machine to get really cool little statues and other prizes. If these were real, I would spend so much money trying to collect them all, which is really bad because we all know that claw machines are rigged, but I really wanted that toy. Why couldn't they just get me that toy already? Do they have numbered collectibles, like the dragons in Spyro who go, "Thank you for releasing me"? Yep, you rescue bots and collect artifacts. They even offer you harder collectibles like the coloured gems in Crash Bandicoot, with Rescue Mission asking you to find chameleons throughout the levels. Do they offer fun, sometimes challenging, yet not frustrating platform segments? Yes! I loved throwing these shurikens to progress through the stage in Rescue Mission, and getting speedy times on the time trials in Astro's Playroom because I've mastered each obstacle course. Oh, time trials and timed challenges, that's another thing the game offers. You have different modes of transport to spice up your adventure, making each world feel unique from the gameplay perspective as well as a design perspective, even floating back to where you were on this duck. I love it and it makes me feel happy, like I've earned a little treat. They introduce you to new gadgets to play with. Here I am aiming my grappling hook so I can tightrope across. Here I am jumping around like a silly frog. Here I am getting revenge on all those enemies who hurt me with my shooty ball machine. Here I am spraying water on my face because I'm clearly so funny. And they have your super fun boss fights. In Rescue Mission, these brilliantly incorporate skills and gadgets you've picked up in previous levels, and in Playroom, they give you a combination of classic platforming challenges to consider whilst you're being hit by nostalgia. So if you look at my platforming checklist, you will see that Astro ticks all of the boxes. S+ for Astro. And it's all done with such visual polish. Look at Astro's little body reflecting in the light. Look at the colour bursting out of the level doors. Look at these mushrooms glowing amongst the darkness. Look at this shiny ball thing by your DualShock.
Look at these lovely water graphics.
Rob, what are you doing here? You're not supposed to be here. This is my video. Get out of my video. Everything seems so unbelievably detailed. I love how when you look up at Astro running across these leaves, little lights glow showing you the weird vein parts of a leaf. Or how the grass has little tiny strips on the top of them as if they're a ribbon cable thingy for a computer. The PlayStation symbols being the heads of plants and fireworks and so many other things in general. Surfaces look like parts of PlayStation hardware. The lily pad has the recycling sign on it. Remember to reduce, reuse, recycle, everyone. There are so many tiny details to find that no matter how many times I play these games, I'm constantly smiling. And I think I smile because they're charming and lovely, and because they didn't have to be done. Team Asobi could have literally just made a lily pad green and called it a day. But they over-delivered. And speaking of over-delivering, each level is filled with stuff. Stuff like the bots having a wash or eating popcorn, or just watching and rooting for you, and then going the extra mile by reacting to your actions with a variety of animations when you hit them. Or this camera which shows me how I have seaweed on my head after getting out of the sea, so I have to do a little dance because I'm feeling glamorous. And then this guy challenges me to a header match, but little does he know the seaweed makes me stronger! And there's a giant robot friend who is simply great, even though all they pretty much do is look peaceful, then look really, really, really worried, point and pick you up. And that's all they need to do to be my best friend. There's constantly things to look at and smile about. I mean, just look at him here in VR. And speaking of VR, a huge part of Astro Bot's appeal is how he showcases the hardware he's on, which of course includes Astro Bot Rescue Mission on PSVR. I know I've already spoken about this game in general, but Astro Bot Rescue Mission is my favourite PSVR game. One of the big reasons is because it shows how well platformers work in VR. A lot of VR games are first person, because they want you to feel like you're the action hero, or that you're about to get eaten by a shark, which had my mum screaming when she tried it. But Astro Bot Rescue Mission then said, but what if? We then made it fully 3D. And it works beautifully. You are the camera and the player at the same time. I mean, yes, you could just keep looking forward, trying to steer Astro over this girder without you looking at him. But bless him, he doesn't want to fall. Really, you need to look up and watch him walk across, adding suspense as you're not only witnessing this rescue attempt, but you're in control of it. And even though you only move forwards, the levels ask you to crane your neck to look around you. You can even look back if you think there was something you missed. And the fact that the levels ask you to look literally everywhere to find all of its secrets is genius. Yes, you can do this in non-VR games too, but they don't have the fun element of me literally climbing over my sofa to look over the edge and find a trampoline, do they? And then there's Astro's Playroom. I mean, I think the whole internet has already expressed how brilliant this game is at showcasing PS5 technology. It looks beautiful, it runs smoothly, it has really quick loading times, it makes use of all of the DualSense's features. Like feeling the rain tapping on my umbrella, the console swooshing by the screen, or feeling Astro's feet going tap 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 tap, thanks to the haptic feedback. Having the adaptive trigger determine your grip on rocks on a wall, and you feel how fragile the crumbly rocks are from how gently you need to press the triggers. Or having this ball respond to the touchpad so well, you really feel like you're in control. Until the ice and these pinball poles get involved, then you have less control. That's on my fingers though, not the tech. But I think what strikes me more than anything is just how positive Astro is. You could be the grumpiest grumpy grump in the whole wide world and still love him. Astro is one of the most upbeat and motivational characters in modern gaming. A real go-getter. He points at the level before you start, as if to say, let's go, let's go! He waves when you look at him, making me feel all good inside. He claps and cheers when you win a prize in the claw machine. He does some epic dance moves when you complete a level. And when it seems like he's lost everything, with his ship and all of his friends being lost to the void, His noises! I can't handle his noises! My heart is being torn in two! He picks himself back up and gets ready to start his rescue mission. And I love how that enthusiasm extends to celebrating PlayStation. Astro Bot is as big a fan as I am. That's partly in the feel. When I first played Rescue Mission, it took me right back to playing classic platformers on PS1 and PS2. I felt like a kid again, being ready to spend hours in this wonderful environment fulfilling all of my platform duties. But then Playroom came along and really went, we know that you love PlayStation, and we love PlayStation, so let's celebrate! Playroom knew that it was not only a showcase for the new PS5 tech, but also a launch game for the next generation of PlayStation. And it wears this badge of honor with pride, starting the game immediately taking us down memory lane with all of the consoles flying by, showing where we've got to now and how far we've travelled. I will never forget seeing this for the first time, and being hit with joy, surprise and nostalgia as I saw my whole gaming life flash before my eyes. You collect artifacts of literally every PlayStation accessory we know, from the home consoles to the handhelds, from the PlayStation Move controller to the Buzz controller, memory cards to discs, cameras to GPS receivers. There are so many wonderful things to see, and they're all so incredibly detailed. Look at the texture on the PS1! That's what the texture was actually like in real life! I like to think I know a bit about PlayStation history, but these artifacts were showing me things I never knew about. Like these PSP accessories. I had a pink PSP and I loved it to pieces, but I never knew you could get a GPS receiver for it! And when it came to the history we do know about, they added some details like custom serial numbers to reference veterans at PlayStation. And we all couldn't help but go, you know what? Fair play. And to top it off, you could interact with a lot of these artifacts, and they all had really fun little messages written about them. I think Those Apes Can't Escape Now and Keeps Your Granny Entertained are my favourites. I never skip the iToy tutorial with the granny. And then, the thing we all love discovering, seeing so many bots dressed up as our favourite characters from over the years. Words cannot express how happy I was naming all of these references. Words cannot express how happy I was that all of these franchises got recognition. Words cannot express how happy I am that this trend continues into Astro Bot. I mean, have you seen the Parappa Bot? I loved every single reference, and I know you did too. As whenever anyone plays Astro's Playroom for the first time, we all just want to scream, "It's Sly Cooper! It's Nathan Drake! It's the Hunter! It's Vibri! It's the bloomin' dinosaur from Demo 1 and it's a boss fight! What?" We want to express our joy and excitement seeing these references from the top of our lungs. These are characters we all grew up with and love, but maybe never expected to get the spotlight again. Or maybe cult characters from games we love, but not a lot of people talk about, like Puppeteer over here. Seeing them get their recognition in a platformer every PS5 owner owns, you can't help but cheer for them. It's like when a celebrity shares that they loved one of your favourite games in an interview. You feel thrilled, because this is someone in the spotlight bringing something you love back into the light. And here, Team Asobi were in the light and used the whole stage to scream all of our favourites. And I continue to love it. Please, just bathe me in all of the PlayStation history celebratory goodness. And yes, there are cameos who are still very relevant now. Resident Evil, of course, is still going. But this little scene here, this is the first Resident Evil, where Chris is in his simple green jacket rather than the giant Fashion 101 coat he wears in Village. And when Jill was wearing her lovely hat before she went all secret agent mode. It's where they started. And where I personally started in the Resident Evil adventure, so I can't help but think, yes, thank you for sharing your love for this game. And I love how they're not just costumes, but they have context to them too. Like Crash doing his signature dance, or Snake having an alert sound when you hit him out of the box, or the Until Dawn cast being in here because it's cold and snowy, just like in Until Dawn. But now, I think I need to calm down a bit because I'm getting way too excited and I need to wrap this video up. But before I go, I will say one more reason why the Astro games are great. The music is a bop. I love these soundtracks. Kenneth C.M. Young has made tracks which are fun, upbeat, have a robotic vibe, and are brilliantly written too. Astro's theme tune gets you pumped to go on a heroic adventure, and you can't help but sing "I am Astro Bot" along with it. I always sing alongside "I'm Your GPU," which has become a classic. And now I can't say SSD without going apart from just then in the script, but that was to explain what I meant. And even the tracks which don't have lyrics, I sing along to. I've heard the time trial track so many times, I remember sitting there and just going on loop. I always go in the track 12-bar bot. Type Mites had such a fun little bouncy tune, Exploring the Caves were actually some of my favourite levels, and CPU Plaza is already a great tune, but when the game gets gloomy and you hear a version called After Dark, I just want to go into a club filled with people who know nothing about games and have this play in it. There are so many reasons we love the Astro games. I haven't even spoken about all of mine, and why when Team Asobi pop up, we stop what we're doing and pay attention. And I will always be excited for what Team Asobi have to offer, because not only do they clearly make great games, and clearly love making and celebrating games, but because they also always seem to be growing. So thank you all so much for watching my video. I really hope you enjoyed it. Are you excited for Astro Bot? Do you love this franchise? Why do you love Astro Bot and the bots? Let me know in the comments. Please like the video if you enjoyed it, subscribe if you'd like to see more content like this, and hit that notification bell so that you stay up to date with the world of PlayStation. Thank you all so much for watching.
PlayStation